know, they think that I just come in there and look for knockoffs, and that's not the case. I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, wait, I'm here. Who wanted to fight me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter beat me.
Our goal is to demolish everybody, to be honest. Everybody that's in my way. The pinnacle to any weight division is to have all the belts, all of the titles.
Welcome to Bodywork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. It feels so good to be back. Man, I hope everybody having a good evening. Hope everybody is doing all right. And tonight, I'm right back at it, talking some good old boxing talk. And I put out some positive vibes for the show, so it's gonna do what it do. But I think I got some things to discuss about the sport that I think is interesting. I've been watching it. I care about the sport. Why? Because shit, for the last, I don't know how many years, it's been my go-to. You know what I'm saying? Outside of my personal, like, it's been my go-to. And you watch it change and you watch it, evolve into different things, and you kind of get stuck in your ways, and you seeing the philosophies of how these fighters, move about the game with, and you see, the ugly side of the business of boxing. And you grow concerned. Like, where's my sport going? Like, I was, doing the Flintstone joint, it looked like my brakes wasn't working, but I was putting my foot all the way down, saying, listen, man, we getting ready to outsource the work. Y'all encouraging us to outsource the work? Because I know a ton of scenarios to wherever you do business. I know the minute they start talking about all types of foreign style, you will be like, nope, I ain't with it. No harm, no way. Like, that stuff Tommy did, you know what I'm saying? It's power, it's good to see, but that stuff Tommy did, coming from New York, going out to Chicago, that's foreign. That's when you looking at the local, when you're looking at, that would never happen. Well, we went down the path, and somebody, put their fingerprint on the game, tanked the market. They come in and people just, man, people was going. There was so many people that were just going out here, man. I was like, dang, you'll go for that? Cookie Monster say, Bodywork, salute Cookie Monster. Mic check, 1 2 1 2. As always, sounding excellent. I appreciate that. I be needing that mic check, microphone checker. But I look at it and I say, we getting some big fights. We getting some big fights. Last year, the sport of boxing was so constipated at times. I was saying, yeah, you getting some people with, demonstrating their pull-out game. We had, people get injured and push back, big implication titles like a comeback fight with Keith Thurman and the time when Inferno Fundora defending his strap. Fundora citing injury. We got injuries. We got upsets like Rolly over Ryan. We got demonstrations, B2A with Oshaki and Fulton. We got people getting unrelieved of straps, like how Devin did B Norm. We had a lot going on, but it was like there were little gaps there. We was like, and it was a lot of filler, and then you got to hear a lot more people's personalities because they be reaching for straws. Because when you're not interested in something, you're not really gonna be talking about it. But salute Bodywork, salute Honey B. I appreciate you. But you aspire to try to maintain a positive perspective on boxing, man. And one of the things that I'm looking at is like how this new era, how they look at boxing. When I think about, like, when most people think about like the ones that's them I'm hims, not we thems. It done shifted from I'm him to we them. But I mean, it'd be cool because it'd be cool if we were talking about like the real like team sports, because you will sit down and you'll hear a lot of these guys. I've heard this applied to a couple of these guys. They say that they were playing sports like football, and at some point they decided that they could still lose even if they do everything they supposed to do. And somebody on the team mess up, and they say, okay, and then you learn that in boxing it's all me. It's all they decide to choose boxing because inside that ring it's just them. It's 3 men in a ring, but it's just them. It's just you. It's all you. You know what I'm saying? You, and then when you go to the corner, you get a little counsel. You got to get back out there. But they be saying outside the ring, hey man, them coaches can't fight for you. It's just gonna be me and you in that ring. Well, where we at right now is like it went from I'm him to we them. And as I look at, like, we got a lot of things going on. We got Pro Box, which I've been said Pro Box was like the perfect supplement to what the big ones was doing. But it's a real player, and the way they got their little niche, and it's like a battleground. People would be going down there and getting mixed. You know what I'm saying? Like people be going down there and doing damage. Somebody I highly respect and like. I don't get to see them fight enough. They said, man, Pro Box, man, shit, you can't go down to Pro Box fucking around. So I embraced it. But I'm one of the ones where I kind of got to feel you out. You know what I'm saying? We done had a lot of like the thrillers I don't know if Black Prime's still around. They still doing their thing, you know what I'm saying? If they are, cool. But we done had a lot of these flash in the pans come by. And so now we got Zuffa. It kind of amazes me because I heard somebody say, man, I mean, you know, and this is the pulse of boxing. It's the pulse of boxing, man. I always tell you when somebody else says something that invoked something that I'm gonna talk about. Well, somebody that has a major impact on the game said that they were cool with Zuffa, and the reasoning why was they're like Al Heyman was trying to do it, but they're trying to do the same things that Al Heyman did. And so they agree. But I'm like, that don't make no sense. Because before, when Al Heyman was doing it, everybody was against it. But I'm trying to tell you, man, we got a problem with outsourcing the work. We laughed. Like, it was a reason why Ngannou was trying to come over there and fight. First it was supposed to be Wilder, and then he wound up getting Fury. Controversial decision. Business of boxing. Reared his ugly head once again. It was a reason why Ngannou was talking about getting the bag, and you know, then he went ahead and fought AJ. It was a reason. We forgot these conversations. Especially when you hear about, you know what I'm saying, some of the things in UFC. Long time ago, I used to, you know, watch it, you know what I'm saying, on a regular basis, but it's been a while. The Iceman, Chuck Liddell, okay? That was my guy. You know what I'm saying? Liddell will go in there and put hands on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't pussyfooting around. But it was a reason why Ngannou came over. So I'm like, you cool with it now, but long story short, that's Dana stuff. I remember people clowning him when he was over there. Now he didn't join. If you can't beat him, join him. But did he join him? Because when in one breath I was saying, man, that this one guy was a Trojan horse, man. He came in to do, and by golly, he did it. He tanked the market. I do not like speaking about these guys and, you know, and they, you know, they paper, but that's what they get paid to do. We be acknowledging it when it comes to football and all of that. When it comes to, we talk about guarantees and all, we speak that, we talk in boxing, you know, either way. People pick and choose when that's good or bad. But if we was criticizing, you know what I'm saying, Dana, it's, I guess, it don't take much. I don't know what was done, but like, I say that because y'all know who on the thumbnail. Tank. And Tank catching a lot of bullets, man. People are really like, man, there's a lot of swords out in the air, man. There's a lot of, you know, I'm seeing a whole bunch. I didn't even know certain people owned the glass house. I didn't even know certain people could afford living in an all glass house. The way they talking. I'm like, man, you live in a glass house? I want to see some pictures. Cause they throwing them stones, man. And that's like national. That's like everybody and their mama talk about. But that guy Dana, yeah, it's footage. You know what I'm saying, of him, you know what I'm saying, doing it to his main apple scrabble, his what y'all call it, his rib. You can see it. And everybody just knee pads. That's what we at, man. So I'm not really invested in it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't. You know, y'all can learn everything y'all need to know. I'm a action driven, results driven type guy. I mean, I seen somebody passing out on stage. I know the competition. I hear the rumors of the signings now. If some big signings come and do that's just something that it's gonna take me time. Y'all can be all on it, but I look at it like, man, that's just really a sliver of the pie. Pro Box, I'm a little more familiar with it. Pro Box been giving us some great fights. You know what I'm saying? I don't know enough about the Zuffa, and I'm not gonna claim to be one of them subject matter experts on it. But we got that kind of stuff going on. That's just an aspect. That's just like, because that's, you know, that's starting to become a reoccurring topic, and I don't like when, you know what I'm saying, I'm hearing stuff from people who I'm like, I can't even trust what they be saying. You know what I'm saying? I try to at least, if I make a mistake or something, I try to come back and edit or correct it, or even in the live, I'll just correct it. You know what I'm saying? But we try to go by the facts. We don't, you know, get off, you know, too far outside the lines, you know what I'm saying, of boxing. We start inside the ring, and if the conversation needs it, we go outside the ring. You know what I'm saying, as it pertains to the sport, for the most part. That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? But those are my initial thoughts, man. It's a lot, it'd be a lot going on, man. And I know it's a lot of people out here that you can go get your laugh on. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes we gotta, like, because hardcore's gotta have hardcore conversations. We don't do this all the time. So we got to look at, like, this philosophy. You know, it's just like, I go back to what we coming up on, what, 2 years or 3 years? I was telling my father-in-law, I was like, man, boxing has changed. And at that time, I think he went on to see what I was saying, but like I was saying, that at that time, the mindset of boxers changed. Like, remember when basketball went to, like, basically load management? The NFL kind of went to it, but then they decided, they said, shit, we gonna maximize our bucks. Why? We gonna make them last 2 games count for something. Like, yeah, it's gonna be playoff implications. You ain't gonna be able to do it unless you got it all the way sold up and you can afford to, you know what I'm saying, going out there with your second team. You want to see something happen, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But they made it mean something. So when, salute to Dev Wall, I appreciate you. So you got to look at it. That's a team sport, though. Which I'm not gonna steal my thunder, but I just wanna remind y'all, man. Kobe, he was selfish about it. He got indignant. He was a consummate professional. Was his name ever in the headlines? Yeah. His name got in the headlines for something. Little hotel joint, you know what I'm saying? Do I gotta remind y'all? But y'all know how great Kobe was. Y'all know how that situation was handled. I'm not even hearing anything that egregious. But if we keep it on to what he did inside on that basketball court and how his mentality was, he had that. They called him the Mamba, the Black Mamba, deadly. He didn't care, and guess what? He was on a team sport. He was on a team sport. I remember they dug off in LeBron's ass when he decided he was gonna go over to Miami Heat. Oh man, he wanna ball out with his friends. I'm like, his friends. I'm like, Bosh. You know what I'm saying? Like, Wade, D Wade. You mean D Wade, who was with Shaq? So he went over there, he got crucified. Oh, he want to play with his friends, man. Michael Jordan, he would never. But guess what? That's a team sport. I don't know if y'all get where I'm going with this. He was basically saying, listen, man, I see how y'all doing this business. I'm not getting my players, whether he was drafting away players, whether they wasn't trying to get him no players. All them guys, if you know the history, you know what I'm saying? He had got a, like, man, Shaq had already been with Kobe. Shaq had been with D-Wade. Shaq was like, by the time he got it, man, he was getting, when him and JR used to cook, they had a little squad. But he was like, man, y'all ain't gonna Charles Barkley me, man. Not the kid, you know what I'm saying? And that was okay, but guess what? That was a group sport. Boxing is like, it's you, the op, and the ref. And so where we're going, you know what I'm saying, for me just to, you know what I'm saying, lay a little breadcrumbs before I get into the housekeeping. Where we're going is, I'm starting to hear so many times now that because of people's affiliated relationships, that when they're moving up, they're not going to fight. Now, this is gone. I told y'all, I be talking about precedence. I was like, man, that's why, at least, okay, if you're never going to do it, cool. But what I keep saying it out in public, it becomes a norm. Now, just because you went endless rounds with a guy, y'all can't ever fight when he move up, but y'all the best. Y'all sharpened each other. And somebody like Tanko choose Lamont, who was local, had familiarity, had a little backdrop, a little story, a little local, whatever. He gave back. He fed. Roach and them like just bit him all in the ass, like the way they acted about it. I'm like, geez Louise. He blew up though. But it was familiarity, and we got the kind of fight we got. But now guys can say, oh yeah, I went in this round with him, like, preparing for this and that. Yeah, we'll never, I wouldn't fight him. It's not just the dynamic duo. It's not just Wiley Kid and Wiley Cat. No, it's not just the twins. No. It's not just Key and Core. That shit is trickling out and down. And these guys are moving through weight classes. I ain't gonna steal my own thunder. I won't let me do it. But number one, man, and Billy elevated to WBC champ. Now, my father-in-law is high on Billy, man. He was like, man, you gotta see this guy, man. They call him the French Mike Tyson. I was like, yeah, I seen Billy. He was like, nah, you gotta see. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna look it up on there. But he's like, yeah, you gotta see him, man. He's like, man, I like this guy, man. He like that action, man. And word, look, true facts. He was a Keyshawn. He liked Keyshawn. He want to see what was, you know what I'm saying, what he doing. I don't think he keep up with all of the other stuff, you know what I'm saying. I probably gotta fill him in, but I try not to do it because I don't want to set a bias in with him about Key. So I try to refrain from talking because it's like I can't state the truth and what's really going on and what's being presented to me. But I'm gonna chop it up with him about that fight. But in Billy, you know, because remember, this gets tricky. Hamza did what he did to Berlanga. It's almost like Hamza got the juice right now. Right? Prior to that, Hamza was saying, my man Diego Pacheco, he had sent the offer, but they didn't hear nothing back. And then right after that, the fight was announced. His fight was announced. The guy Diego Pacheco just got. And so I was saying, ooh, you know what I'm saying? Was that like a business move? Or that, you know, but he got active. And he had a good, you know, he had a good time. He had a good year. You know what I'm saying? He had So Cold. You know what I'm saying? He got So Cold, which was a notable fight. It was a crossroads fight. You know, but the choice was Hamza Shiraz's choice to decide whether or not he wanted to fight Billy for that WBC or fight Diego Pacheco. And so we was waiting. I think it went, I want to say it might have went to purse bid or something. And I was like, wow. Turkey's guy? I guess he killed that narrative, man. Because think about it. If Turkey didn't have the money for his guy, because remember, it was all these narratives about, oh man, the reason why they stripped Bud was because that's Turkey's guy. Okay, you know what I'm saying? But like, so Turkey's guy, right? This is what they trying to tell us out here at the time. Turkey's guy, Hamza Shiraz, who he did, you know, they did pickpocket the shit out of Carlos Adames over there. I don't go too heavy. I don't say full-blown robbery because it was a draw, but everybody know Carlos Adames won that fight. And he made me eat crow. It made me eat crow. I had never seen Carlos Adames fight like that. I knew that he was going over there. He had troubles at the airport. You know what I'm saying? He was delayed. They was not trying to, they was doing that little, why I say going over there, you got to be on your P's and Q's. You got to be on your P's and Q's. But they did, you know, give that man a draw. And that was the infamous 2 points. You're down by 2 points. That caused a lot of controversy, you know, in amongst the masses, because people were like, hold on, man. That's like live scoring where the king could come like, look, man, it's off with your motherfucking head. If you know what I'm saying, you let them do that shit to you one more time, you got 2, I'll give you 2. You down by 2, but it's off with your head. So people was all, you know, they had their thongs in a bunch about that. You know, and they was talking about that. But that's the guy that they gave that draw where, you know, Carlos Adames didn't get that dub. He got a draw, which is, you know what I'm saying? He went to purse bid. He went to purse bid. We seen what Eddie done, you know, he lost purse bids with Boots, but he just bought the Bachram, but he done lost purse bids with Devin. He wouldn't even pick up. They was like, man, I'm not, listen, this man getting $12 million. Devin is what they saying. That man said, man, we ain't touching that this time. So I'm not misconstruing nothing. They said, we're not even touching. Me not for no nothing about no Sandor Martin. Who got money for that thing, you know? They wouldn't even touch it. So we talk about purse bids and stuff like that, and when people lose purse bids and stuff like that, we talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Fresh Promotions. They won one. Put on a hell of a show. Very climatic. You know what I'm saying? With Dalton in Super Real. So lo and behold, you know, I gotta do my research. I gotta go back and double check on that. I like to give things time to come out and then see something on the box of speaking on it if I could to double qualify it. And I haven't done that yet, but I think it's time. I think the clock is ticking because it's still, you know, we creeping up on the end of January. We pretty much up there, but not sure what happened. But this news came out in Billy, and that's big implication. That's big implication. I heard somebody say that somebody was trying, you know, the last #1 pound for pound guy was saying, give my guy a title shot, and somebody was outraged. Somebody was outraged saying, man, but you just told us the belts wasn't. I was like, hey. You know what I'm saying? What's your safe word? Pineapples. But let me get off of that, man. And Billy is the man, you know what I'm saying? He got that full-fledged WBC. Z Green one. You know, so salute to him. I mean, he got elevated. That's the way, because we can't pick and choose. I don't think there's going to be too many emails talking about, you know, how he got emailed the strap. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know if it's going to be anybody that's going to talk about that, but that's that. Number 2, they had put out that undercard, and Ness, hey, he's cooking on that undercard, man. You know what I'm saying? People are really chimed in. They are really excited, and You know, I'm not gonna piggyback off of nothing from that. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know, a great show. But on there, Frank the Ghost Martin, right back against Nair Albright. Man. Nair, he's saying he wanted that Keyshawn smoke, you know, and Frank just came back and smacked Barthélemy, respected Barthélemy, man. Positive vibes his way, you know what I'm saying? Because the way he hit the canvas, man, in the back of that head, man. But to come right back, you know, that's speaking volumes, man. That's pressure. Hey, the Ghost say he took a little time off, but he came back, man, and he, you know what I'm saying, he moving like a ghost. He disappearing and coming right back when you least expect it. Yikes. I was like, whoo. We already got that Gary Antoine Russell and Andy Hirioka. That's why I was trying not to indulge in all these conversations about Richardson Hitchens ducking Gary Antoine, because he got Andy Hirioka, and people have not done their research. It's been so long, and I'm so tired because the Fundora and Sebastian Fundora and the Keith Thurman fight got pushed, and I thought it was rumors that it was going to be on that undercard. I thought it was going to be rumors that it was on that Tank undercard when you know they were supposed to be on that one with Jake, and then so that fight has been getting pushed, and man, that becomes something in the sport. That becomes something, because I'm not one to make excuses, but people love to bring up Kambosos when it comes to Tio. But at that time, that fight had got pushed back. They got pushed back because they was colliding with Floyd. They got pushed back, and then I think you know, Tio was like, COVID, I got the COVID, like whatever, however you say it, however you was saying it. And the venue had made that Floyd decision. But when fighters finally get in the ring, it impacts fighters. It just depends on how they train. If they overtraining, undertraining, like those things happen. Those things happen. It just happened with Khalil Cole and Jesse Hart. Because I think they were supposed to do that in October. They've been training. That's why Jesse Hart was pushing so hard for that fight. You know, when they get pushed back. So we always ask for activity from our boxers. And I like to see Frank this active. You know what I'm saying? Because people already start, man, I don't respect the Barthélemy. Man, like, you don't respect somebody knocking out somebody, but if somebody would have went the distance, it would have been, you know, sometimes you can't please boxing fans. Sometimes you can't please them. Because if you'd have went the distance, they would have said, oh, well, Gary stopped him. But then when you see that fight, Gary did stop him. Gary did stop him, because the only one man, you know what I'm saying, finished. But to see the Ghost against Nair Albright, am I high on Albright? I respect him. I definitely respect him. You know what I'm saying? I respect what he was able to do. And I like the way he carried himself. You know, I've seen some of his interviews, and he seems like a cool dude. But Frank Martin is coming right back, man, the Ghost. And Frank got a fan base. You know why? It was a lot of people that like Tank, that like Frank. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on who your favorite fighter was. I think a lot of people who like probably, well, you know, it just depends. You know what I'm saying? Some people might be anti-Spence, but then be pro-Keyshawn, and they had their thing. So just depends on this market, like how the fan bases are right now. But Frank bouncing back, he took his time off. It looked like he coming back to back. But that's on that undercard, and I thought that was a good sign, man, for both of them guys, because, you know, Nair Albright, he get a fight, you know what I'm saying? We get to see, you know, remember Frank known to at least, Frank gonna drop you. Like, Frank is nice, man. Frank is nice, man. That's a nice fight, man, to put on a full demonstration. You know what I'm saying? So we can see. That's just in case, but that's just in case. No pressure, because you know what I'm saying. But easily baked, salute. And Billy, if I'm gonna go back to M Billy because I just seen it. I don't be reading the comments to the end, but I'm reading them now though. I'm sticking with it. But I don't know. You know, because these are like things that I ask for every boxer. I started calling it that armadillo style. Like that Pitbull Cruz, that Nick Ball, that who else? The guy that Diego Pacheco fought. You know, I'm that's one of the style that Madonna. You know, we seen what happened, you know what I'm saying, in one of his fights where he changed somebody, you know, for life. But I don't know, because would he be more disciplined and use more of his range? You know, would he get in there and mix it up and get tapped on that chin? We seen Ammo get through, you know what I'm saying? Ammo done got through. He ain't the most technical, but I think it's that, you know, that's that Billy style is really definitely going to show how they do. I'm high on Hamza though. I just thought that somebody like somebody like in Billy, like let's just say Richardson Hitchens moved up and fought a guy like in Billy. You know what I'm saying? All things being even, I think a guy like that will give him all kinds of problems. You know, so it just depends on how disciplined Hamza gonna be, but he got a nice uppercut. You know what I'm saying? I'm waiting to see what's gonna happen between him and Diego Pacheco, because I'm high on Diego Pacheco. It showed me a lot, but then I said, man, that's that style. Like that style, it's almost like it's in the same vein. It's not the same because I don't put Sean Porter in there as a Nick Ball or, you know, a Madonna, and I don't put him in there, but I'm just saying Sean, like Showtime Sean P was one of them guys to where he gonna make everybody look a little rough. It's gonna be an ugly task for anybody. But in that vein of anybody, if you don't know how to handle that style, if you can't be that matador. But I seen was that a Derevyanchenko? I've seen a Derevyanchenko with a hurt shoulder take him the distance, and he was hurt. Like he was clearly hurt with Andre Rozier in the corner. You know, so I know that somebody that got, and he, you know, Derevyanchenko being that long in the tooth, there's no way that fight should have went the distance, but that showed me a lot. And Billy has been active since then, which is cool. And he seemed like he just overwhelmed you. But if you know how to use your space, time, and distance, and you be disciplined with it, you can give him all kind of problems. All kind of problems. If Adames was to ever move up, I would like to see that. I wouldn't mind seeing Maul against that. I mean, Maul. I'm sorry, Maul. I wouldn't mind seeing Maul against him, Billy. You know what I'm saying? Why not? But the last one, Shushu's rite of passage is looming. He going up against a guy named Castro, the same guy who gave Fulton everything he wanted and needed. I thought he edged that fight myself, but you know, I probably got to go back and watch it again. But I'm more concerned with Shushu. Shushu is a little older for where he's at in his career, and I know that a lot of these guys had looked up to him. But Shushu, man, boxer, puncher, and a devastating puncher once he figured he ain't got to go nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Shushu got a mean switch, man. If you see him in his interviews, you would think he was two different people, man. Like he know how to play. He know how to, well, not play, but he knows how to articulate himself, and he's a guy he's refreshing to listen to. I think he kind of got, you know, he realized he can't be as truthful as he want to be, which is part of the game, because you know they gotta these boxers got a little fraternity, you know, where they feel some kind of way when you say something about your homeboy performance, and you are like truthful and honest, man. They They'll shun you for that. So, but he get in that ring and he turn it on, and he'd had some fights. He had some fights with the guy from out here in Silver Spring, you know, gave him a problem. Some people think that, you know, the decision could have went somewhere else. But he's been calling out Espinosa. He's been saying Espinosa. He's been wanting a shot. And I'm glad that his time has come. And I got him showing out, man. He be coming in there with, you know what I'm saying, with that Mike Tyson energy. You know what I'm saying? I like it because he's his own person for the most part. And I hope he can get over that hump. I think that'll be good for boxing. You know what I'm saying? It's familiarity with Castro, because Castro shared the ring with Fulton. If he go in there and stop this man, and it's going to be devastating fashion. He got some of the most vicious. When he locked in, he dialed in, and he got you cornered, man. And you can't get out of there, and you get overwhelmed, man. When he turned, he got a switch. When he turned that switch on, man, and you know, they say the better the competition, the better, because sometimes these guys don't get up for these guys. Like, you know, they probably study him and watch him, you know what I'm saying, whatever, but it ain't much to know, and it's not, you know, it's not called a big fight. Well, he got a nice opportunity to really grab the attention of the boxing world. You know, I've been following along with Shushu, man, over there on Top Rank, and you know, you know, but you don't. Because there is a such thing as a Top Rank dyer, but then there is like people that even, you know, if they get moved right and they mature along right, because, you know, they starting to criticize Andy Cruz, saying it was just too soon. I'm like, man, you can't please these boxing fans. Well, Shushu, it's the time for Shushu. You know what I'm saying? It's the time for Shushu to show up and show out positive vibes to that guy. I like Shushu, man. I like his backstory about his brother, all of that good stuff, man. I hope you can get in there, and, you know, I hope weight goes well. Hope camp was good. No, you know, they say everything, a little something is, you know, going on with everybody, but that's just the rigors of boxing. But, you know, no major issues going on. Hope your opponent follow through, man. It's your time. It's your time, Shushu. It is your time, man. Because at first we didn't know, you know, we talked about it collectively, and we didn't know if they was moving you. And then we kept looking at the next opponent, and then we were assessing it based on the opponents. And we were saying, well, nah, maybe not. And I'm like, okay, well, yeah, they ready. And then, you know, that last time when I seen them out there that last time, man, you turned that switch. Yeah. You turn on that switch. Yeah, he got a kill switch. He got a kill switch. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. But that's the housekeeping, y'all. Earl, man, hit the philosophy Earl had, man. The big fish. He had that I'm him mentality. He even had, like, pretty much people attribute that, keep that same energy. They attribute that to Errol Spence. Keep that same energy. He was I would look at him like an individual. It wasn't really no packs. You would see him sparring or whatever with Mel Charlo, but that's like stablemate stuff. Nothing outside the ordinary. But Earl ain't never, you know, Earl ain't never said, well, we cool, so, you know, and man, but see, because what might need to, and if we can crash the economy of the world, you know, to make the fight, we ain't never hear Earl say nothing like that. My fight of the year last year, he got a pack of his own, but this is pack of brothers. They ask him questions all day of who you gonna, it ain't no, no, I got an appetite for smoke. I got an appetite for smoke. When they say fight, will they give you them options? You know what I'm saying? Fight or something. Like, he don't even need he already know the answers to the test, and he get it right every time. I'm fighting all three of them. Who else can say that they saw their favorite boxer fight 5 times? Who else can say they saw their favorite fighter go in there and fight a fight to where he could pretty much do whatever he wanted, and at times he showed you, I'm a dog. He was like, friends, nah, I got only family, I got only you is my brothers, and you see how we came out, you know what I'm saying? Who else at the last minute, when somebody imploded, they ain't wet the bed, man. They ain't wet the bed. You had to get a new mattress for what they did. Then they tried to shit on him. Tried to press him and say, like, hold on, knowing, you know what I'm saying, knowing the circumstances, but who you know was able to step up and fill in the gap, stand in the gap when the mayor was there, AI was there, Mike Vick was there, and headline that joint and get busy. He don't, nah, his thing is, I got an appetite for smoke. I don't, I'll fight anybody in and around my weight class. I want to smoke. Schofield was like, nah, he said no to a meal, not to fight this dude. To come back around once he gets strapped, once he go over there and win that strap against Sam Nooks in a nice fight, doing that body work, then they come out and say, oh, we need 10 to 50 million to fight any one of these champions. Abdullah Mason, he got an appetite for smoke. He in the mess hall with his chest out. He don't got a friend up at 40 and a friend down at 30, and yeah, my guy, my cousin, like, yeah, because we share bunk beds and band camp. Like, no. I got appetite for smoke. Bakram. I put up a survey inspired by AC. Who hits harder? The IBF 10-pound rehydration or Bakram? Y'all realize, unless you get a snippet and you see the highlights, or you have, it's a couple articles they do from time to time, but not many. But do y'all know what speaks for him? His work. I don't hear about a whole clan, you know what I'm saying, a whole den, all we know is Bakram, man. We don't know who he roll with. Well, we know who he be in there with. I think he be in there with Viteria, but like, that's all we really know. Like, we know he from over there, if you watched him or whatever, but like, he don't roll like that, like reputation preceding him. You could say what you want about this man, but one of the reasons why I double back and say, hey man, we kind of gotta respect T.O., man. We kind of gotta respect him. One of the tenets of what he's saying that he's trying to do is like, man, he want to get rid of all of that stuff, man. He's like, nah, man, it's like it's starting to be wow, man. That pack mentality, man. When I look at anybody over here, raise your hand if you remember Roy having like somebody up at, you know, any weight. Any weight. Raise your hand if you knew Roy was saying, man, anybody at any weight was homeboy. So like, is there any recordings or anything, any interviews we can look up? Is there any footage we can see where he was saying, you know, nah, we family, man. Nah, we sparred. Like, nah, man, I don't. It's what they talk about. This is like the perception of Tank. This is the perception of how they act. You know what I'm saying? He put just content alone, just whatever. He put money in he put money in haters' pockets on a regular basis. They look at him like craps, but like I don't recall. I remember earlier on they said that they were like stable mates, but that was truck. Two totally different. They'll never be in the same weight class, so it would never ever be. But I don't recall anybody that Tank was like, we. I do know that he was saying that him and Lamar was cool, and he offered him, and he got shattered on for making that decision initially, but then after the fight, everybody said he was ducking smoke for not doing it again. You can't please these boxing fans. This man Oshaki was like, nah, we was cool. We gotta settle this. He did everything he needed to do. This dude went on $1 million worth of game with Gillian Wallow and Stephen Fulton in their backyard in enemy territory, held his own. And he was consistent no matter how much they said they got him, and they kept telling him, yeah, I got him, and then and they asked about the Shakur, and he was like, well, right now I got bro, so they defaulted to I got bro, but that's a pack. He went in the Lions, he went in there, said what he needed to say, and then he came out that night when that fight happened. Definition of BTA. The definition of belt tap. When this fight came up, both of these guys, I ain't see a whole bunch of people rolling and saying whatever. Like his reputation, Andy's reputation speak for himself. Raymond Mortaia, he got a whole stable, but like Raymond Mortaia, he my lunch pail and hard hat guy. That man don't even, I think that man quit school because of recess. He's serious. He's serious. And I respect him. He's certified now. He won the I Belong sweepstakes. Gilly and Wallow don't know nothing about boxing. They like whoever come on the show and beat their DMs down. Yeah. For an interview. Yeah. Yeah. Gilly know boxing, but he do, you know, he biased. You know what I'm saying? Which, you know, he a homer. He a homer. And Wallow, he's like a comedian, but they got their thing. But yeah, it's like, it's not just that. It's like Cam and Mace. It's like you got LaShawn McCoy. You know, it's different people from different places putting their fingerprint on it. But Oshaki went over there, sat down with him, took it all his answers. It was nothing brash. It was nothing like that. He held his own. Came out and put on a demonstration. But it ain't no pack. It was like, yeah, he said we used to be cool, but I want to, you know, I'm trying to, you got to see me. This is why I say it be 80-20, because there's people out here that's doing it, but they don't get the burn. Don't nobody really be talking about these guys. Like, they come out and do an interview. I'm glad Oshaki came out and got, you know, I want him to stay active. I want him to stay present and keep, you know, keep being him, keep rocking the way he be rocking. But look like he rode Dolo from state to state. The pack is taking over one of these guys, man. Salute Aaron Jones, man. I appreciate you, man. Hope you safe out there, man. I know you had to shovel some snow. I know you had to at least shovel a little bit of this snow, Aaron Jones. But T.O., man, that's one of the things I like. I like how man, T.O. be solo dolo from state to state. It ain't no pack. It ain't no, you know, even the culture, even his intentions and what he trying to do. That's why I say, man, in some ways, man, for the sport. But what inspired this was, what inspired this live, man, was I just wanted to have a real conversation, because to me, it's like, how can I put this, man? We at a point now where people, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. I finally watched that Custer interview. I watched that Custer interview, that Brian Custer interview, man, and I was just like, wow. I was taken aback by that, and I'm like, man, it's at a point in time where, man, it's fight week, so I'm not really into the interviews. Like, I mean, the words, like when y'all got a fight on Saturday, it's like, yeah, like right now I'm more just waiting, buying my time for the weigh-in, you know, and you know, see how you know, because that's the next thing, man. It tell you a lot. Like, I'm waiting on that, man. The weigh-in and the face-off and all of that. You know, who can keep their composure, who making weight, because we just had somebody come in 8 pounds. I'm trying not to listen to the banter at this point, because it's like, man, it's only a couple days. What 3 days in a wake up for 3 stellar cards with 3 cards with big implications all over. I'm not concerned about the words. I'm concerned about that action. I'm trying to pull something up. At some point, we can foster this, but like what we're doing outside the ring, which is our concern, is like pretty much until when they announce that it's a fight, then you just crossing your fingers that they get across the line and everybody do what they got to do, and we get into fight week stuff, right? But at some point, everything you said, like all your actions, you could be outside smacking the belt on the concrete, all this other stuff or whatever, like all your antics, all your behavior, all of that energy and all that, like it bottlenecks down into when you poke your head through them ropes and you come in and now you in the ring and that referee go ding ding ding. At the end of the day, we want to see the guys on the highest level get in there. You can't limit your competition on the outside and build yourself up so much and not recognize you're going to have to get in the ring and stand on all of that. And the bigger you go and the more money they give you, the more they're going to expect of you. The more pressure, the more eyeballs is on you. Objects behave different when they're being observed. That's scientifically proven. Here's twin, salute. Like at some point on the 300, they all had to see the wolf. And there's a lot of wolf out here, but like, what's a wolf to a predator? That's just one type of species. As a predator, you want the best. You want the you welcome to being dangerous. Like sometimes, that's how the predator was. There's still David Benavidez. You could say Brian Norman. I just mentioned Abdullah Mason, Tito Mercado. Any smoke you can get. You ain't pulling out of like 3 out of the last 4 fights like Schofield. He ain't in a pack, but damn, we can't get him to stop pulling out. I guess you can call him a dynamic duo because you can never get him by himself. He always with his dad, but at some point, man, you're gonna have to this interview, man, it was so many contradictions in it, man. It's like I'm at a point where I'm tired of responding. I like to do it more so to keep it and have it on wax so that I could be like, in real time, this is how I felt about the situation and see how well it ages. And it ages very well. That whole Keyshawn debacle aged very well. All my videos I did about this young man, If it was a wine, you wouldn't be able to taste. You wouldn't be able to taste nothing better. All of the videos I've done on Tank over the time, you know what I'm saying? But what I realized, man, at some point in time, this is the bittersweet part of it. At some point in time, because if you recall, because everybody in love with this Zuffa stuff, and y'all got Turkey and y'all got Zuffa. What's happening here in Honey? You got Turkey and you got Zuffa. They applauding Zuffa for doing what they say Al Heyman was trying to do. So at the time when Al Heyman was doing it, they hated it. Just like at the time when the PBC, we talking about the heavyweight, they had Wilder. You talking about at 154, they had Jermell Charlo. At 160, they had Jamal Charlo. In the Glamour division, they had Earl. At 135, they had Tank. So almost from almost top to bottom, for the weight classes that we highly respect and was looking at what, the action and people not saying, oh, he's too big, oh, he's too small. They had him. None of them guys, when I look at Wilder, I don't recall Wilder, like he had friends, like, yeah, he was doing the YouTube thing. He had his supporters, but Wilder didn't roll in no pack. You got Maul and Mel, you see how at odds they be at sometimes, but they twins, most of the time they was in sync, But they've had their share recently. Recently, biased to say that they out there, but we also had the young Vargas boys who just was out in the public actually swinging. So, but Mel, he ain't really rolling no pack. Knowing that Maul was going through all the issues that he was going through, I'm talking about in boxing. It might have been good if he would have had a pack, because maybe Caleb wouldn't have done that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't really respect it. I'm like, I don't know what kind of mental health. That man might have snapped and did something. You know what I'm saying? He might have snapped and did something to put him in a place where he don't need to be. But in the sport, I ain't never heard Maul or Mel say that they ain't want to fight nobody because they was cool. They was friends. They was BFFs. The big fish. He ain't say the piranhas, you know what I'm saying? Me and the piranhas, like he did the big fish. He ain't roll, he wasn't like that. He said, man, he used to call himself Free Smoke Jr. I ain't never heard him say we friends. Remember, he had the thing with Keith Thurman going on, but his reason not to fight him was different because Keith Thurman was, acting job bougie on some what has he done type stuff, and then he underestimated Manny Pacquiao. Tank, he had to be that. But I'm listening to this Brian Custer interview with Shakur, and I was breaking it down. I was about to take notes, and I just said, you know what? Enough is enough, man. First thing I told my man, I was like, man, we spoke too soon. We spoke too soon. But the beauty in being transparent and judging everything for what it was that in one interview, he went in there and said everything right, had the demeanor, had all that, like, you know what I'm saying, perfect. And the other one, he's somebody else. His response is somebody else. Now, I know it was the difference in days. I know the one from Custard. It sound like, from something he said in there, it sound like it was done before the last one with the watch guy. But I'm like, man, if you're going to, I guess you paving your way, and it's chess, not checkers, but you paving your way because, like I said, man, these guys being friends, these guys having all this, I understand camaraderie, but this is not a team sport. And I gave examples in the beginning about how team sports, when people made moves based on friendships, they got cooked, even though that was a true team sport. You know, I do see the benefits of a pack somewhat because, you know, you get protection. Dana White got protection. Shakur got protection. Devin, even though I don't really see him as a pack, he's not a pack guy either. I don't really see him as a pack guy. But, you know, like when Keyshawn and his little, you know, announcement of what he was doing and he don't like to hear people talking about, like Andre Ward and Roy Jones, they gave him like the softest questions, and you know, they ain't really even, they act like they ain't even really want to talk about it or nothing. But I'm like, man, you talking about two consummate professionals, gold medalists to your silver medalists. It's like nobody can't say because of something, you know, involving who he believe in or something like that. But that's the benefit of being in a pack. You get all these little echo chambers, you know what I'm saying, protecting you, gatekeeping for you. Tank could use a little bit of that, man. Especially when I don't, where's the video? Like anybody that did any video about DV, who your eyeballs haven't seen anything, but your eyeballs have seen Dana in something on TV. Yeah, you seen it. I would love for all the people that's just that loud about Tank to be saying something about Dana right now. Or having something down on wax to where, you know what I'm saying, we can go back and refer to it. I would love to, because that's not, when Devin and his stuff, when that came out, the two different incidents. I would love to see the interviews cooking and going all in and getting all these super chats and cash apps. You know, Shakur came out and said, F Tank. I was like, dang, what happened with Tank? Like, what is there something we don't know? Like, what happened? And I don't care. You know what I'm saying? That's his prerogative. But the way he came out and the way he stated himself and, you know, how he felt, I was like, wow. Because I always go back to this, man. I've never lost focus on this is the fight. This is the closest thing to Bud and Spence, like, as far as like the demand for it and the people wanting to see it because of the styles and the history. I almost feel like Anthony Hamilton. I can't let go. But since I respect the shooter, every now and again, I got to come out and do one of these. And these be the lowest views. These be the ones that, you know what I'm saying? But every now and again, I got to do it, man, just to highlight everybody's hypocrisy. He dealing with all of that. Like, y'all don't even want to know. Like, y'all don't even want people to tell what you said about somebody else or whatever. Like, but all this, man, like, without no proof, without no evidence. He's already guilty in the court of public opinion. We don't know what's going to play out. I remember the accusations that Rowley had. I don't remember people being that adamant about that. How did that play out? But I see so many times like where people, I think they might even pin these kind of comments, but in the latest thing, this is the only reason why I had to do this, because the most impactful thing in the last 2 weeks in interviews that Keyshawn got coming on, because they fighting on the same card. They fighting on the same card. The most impactful thing that they have said last week, the biggest thing was Keyshawn saying he would knock Tank out. They released one with Shakur and he's saying F Tank. But they like Jonathan and David. What's up, Johnny Allison, man? I hope fatherhood treating you right, man. I ain't seen you, thought about you the other day, man. I was like, I wonder what's going on. I know you just had the little one. I hope all is well, man. Good to see you back. But no, it's not really Tank specifically, but it is, he's involved as, as my, example. I'm talking about the pack mentality in boxing and how it's going to portray the sport. Like that Kobe Mamba mentality is fading. Now people are being selective with their opponents. They're telling you beforehand, like, nah, I wouldn't fight him because that's my friend. And I'm saying, man, with everything that's going on in boxing, we can't afford that, especially since these guys are still moving weight classes and they're going to have to see each other, or they're going to be in and around each other. But I say what I said about what Shakur said, because when Shakur was like, man, F Tank in that interview, I was like, wow. So I was like, okay, let's see how it goes. Well, later on, they got onto the subject of Clarissa Shields. And when they got onto that subject, of course, like AC say, the Brat Pack, of course, Shakur came out in defense of Clarissa and was like, yeah, man, she get a lot of negative. And then he's like, we our own worst kind. I'm like, but you just said, like, emphatically, now you going up against T.O. When they brought up, the things that he said, his little shenanigans or whatever, you said, oh yeah, he gonna get whatever. But it wasn't no F, like, it wasn't no animosity. It wasn't no, I'm like, so because the dude said he don't need you. So in the interview, I found like 6 or 7 of these contradictions where he said something earlier on, and I'm like, well, people gonna say I'm being overly critical. I just watch the interviews. Don't they? You do the interviews so that you can communicate through a medium to your audience how you want them to feel about you going into this fight. That's just part of the, what I'm saying? That's how you get motion. But that's all you're doing. You're the writer of your own script. Because once again, and they do this all the time, but I don't even want to talk. I don't even want to speak on them. And then they say the thing about them, and that's all, it overshadows everything. So he still got to be that guy. But I don't remember him running around in no pack. Somebody can stop me when I'm lying, but I don't remember it. There's a reason why a while ago I asked this question. There was a reason why Tank wasn't on there. Why? He was already there. And that statement that Shakur made was kind of odd, because in boxing, even though it's boxing, they always say, In boxing, you need the dance partners. What was Bud's thing the whole time, and why he wasn't as big as what he's like? Man, I didn't really had a dance partner. I think I think he'll be the dance partner that's gonna. And you seen what happened when he got in there with Earl. And then we seen what happened when he took off on Canelo. But I asked, who's chasing greatness? And when we look at it, you know what I'm saying? This is a while ago. But this 2 years, this might be 2 years now. Or coming up on it. Devin, yeah. He checked the box. He went up and got Norman, unstrapped a guy like Norman in a fashion that I didn't see coming. Nobody saw Devin dropping. It's like I didn't see him doing Regis like that, but the 2 times he made me eat crow. That's like, hey, if you gonna serve my crow, serve it to me like that. So he is. T.O., I believe he is. Shakur, now he is. Virgil and Boots, meh. J-Man, salute. I appreciate that. Salute. But I think sometimes we gotta have these conversations, man, because I seen something where Tim Bradley was basically saying that Shakur Stevenson ain't nothing to play with. He was saying Shakur Stevenson ain't nothing to play with. He got on there and he was all talking about Shakur's abs. Man, whoo. You see Shakur's abs? That boy ain't nothing to play with. He was saying, man, throw some bananas in there and do all this. So in one breath, he inciting the racial epithets or whatever, which I'm like, dude, you an example. You the Hall of Famer telling somebody to throw some bananas, like resurging the whole TO and all that, trying to dredge up. That's why I said I don't think that they could promote this guy. They got to use that card. I'm like, why be using that card? Why did he give him an opportunity if he felt like that? Because they don't feel like that. But with him saying that about his abs, I was like, man, I remember when Tim Bradley was the same one. Tim Bradley was the same one. And Johnny, I ain't gonna get into it. I wait, man. I wait. So I'm not getting into it. You know what I'm saying? I wait. But I remember when Tim Bradley, I remember when Brian Norman, when he went over there and wiped like 6 weeks, I think they said 6 weeks of Jen Sasaki's memory away. The first thing Tim Bradley did was come out and insinuate that Brian Norman was juicing. The first thing Timothy Bradley came out and did was he's like, ooh. He was like, boy, you gotta piss test this boy. I'm like, man, like that's him. That's him. This is facts. But ain't nobody gonna talk about no therapeutic use exemptions. Ain't nobody gonna talk about snack. AC brought up therapeutic use extensions, but I remember, and I'm not saying for this fight, I'm talking about snack, yeah, but I'm saying as far as the therapeutic use extensions, it was been fights before. Well, I'm like, yeah. Because I remember they had said something about AJ one time, and I'm like, see, I be listening to what people be saying, and I be waiting, and if it's something interesting enough, because you can shock your broker. Like if you learn a fact or you learn something that's not like, through music and through shocking the broker. Those are 2 ways to be able to instill something in your subconscious or really get you to remember something. That's why people use music to program you and to do certain things, and that's why people do that shock factor. So if it gets stuck up in there and I remember it, and then that situation come by and you speak on stuff, I wait to see if you're going, like a la Errol Spence, I wait to see if you're going to keep that same energy. But I dare anybody to ask Tim Bradley about Snack. Speaking about wolf packs, I ain't even gonna get on the Snack pack, but I dare. Tank ain't never did nothing like that. But everybody cool with the Snack pack. But everybody, just like right now, some people still shitting on Ryan because of the fight, whatever, because they talking about the PED stuff. But I'm like, but nobody can say nothing about Snack. Why? Because, man, that dude served his time when he came back and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, no, man, that's an adverse hit. And you ain't had him all this time. You didn't need him. That's what I think too, Johnny. He be, you know, because that's why he be woo-hoo-hoo and acting all, but it's, you can tell that it's fabricated. That's not his natural energy, man. So I think it is. It's about his clicks and all that, yeah. And that's how I feel, man. We got to, man. It's too controversial. And Lord forbid you speak on it, but I'm like, hey, man, when people start looking different, I'm gonna have something on wax saying, man, this man looking different. But don't take, so in this case, I'm like, don't take my word for it. Go back and listen. I would love to interview Tim Bradley's, you know what I'm saying, significant other and ask her, how you feel about your spouse being all googly-eyed about this man's abs? How you feel about that? And by the way, how you feel about Snack? They might get me jumped. man. Shakur talking about going back to 135 again after this here fight if he can't get another big one. That's the more, yeah. I don't see him not being able to get it because at some point, if he's doing what I was saying, yeah, he deserve it. He deserve it, Johnny. Somebody gotta tell the truth, man. That's how I feel. Somebody gotta tell the truth. This fruits and veggies not that Reggie, that fact-based content, not opinion-based. But it's just kind of wild, man. Like the pulse and the climb of the boxing, man. That's, you know, we getting the big fight, so that's the 80%. But I wanted to do this. I hadn't done one of these, and I wanted to outline some things like in the vein of the post, because these are things that people are saying and doing. Like, this is how Tim is acting. This is like things that Shakur is saying. We our own worst enemy, but the biggest, loudest, emphatic thing you said was about Tank. The viral moment that Keyshawn had outside of him doing that belt stuff, going viral for that, he went viral for saying he was going to knock Tank out. But Tank he got his situation going on. He at 35. People be saying, oh, when he coming back to 40. You know, I'm like, I don't know. I want to see how he deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, with everything, he can clear this stuff up. Get rid of this red tape. Well, don't nobody know, but that's how Shakur went viral. That's how Keyshawn went viral before this, you know, this celebration when he out-celebrated Raymond Moritalia victory. Because he's relieved. He feel like, okay, oh, whew. I don't gotta fight the dude in the pros that whooped my ass that many times in the amateurs, man. Whew. Thank you, Moritalia. I'm Team Moritalia. I can't make this up. This man said he Team Moritalia. He's there when they got all that red and gold on. You know what I'm saying? He on the side of the ring talking about, I'm Team Moritalia. What? Going in there, respect, man, shaking his hand. I'm like, what? Moritalia talking about going up to 40. He wanted to win the Shakur and T.O. You get past Jermaine Ortiz, Mortalia might be somebody because it's all these caveats. Remember, it was a caveat with Frank. It was a caveat with Andy Cruz. A BFF clause for Shakur. Talked all that yipping and yapping with Richardson Hitchens, and Richardson Hitchens get blamed for pricing himself out when he the champ, but Keyshawn was asking for ridiculous money too. And you got Jermaine Ortiz getting ready to stand in front of you. Hey, Body, I wanted your opinion on Jake Paul suing Anthony Joshua after that fight. Bro, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that. I remember what I was saying. It's novelty boxing. Appreciate you, J man. I appreciate you for real, for real. Yeah, I can't make it up. Like, I'm just calling it how I see it. Frank Martin is looking good though. The ghost is back. Yeah, for to come back, to come back that fast and with an opponent like Nair Albright. Yeah, he can show. And I like that activity, man. This quick and having a break and then going through a camp, and then, man, on that kind of card, man, Frank going, y'all already see what it is, man. Y'all see what it is right here. Look, if y'all look, I be having the, like, look. Tito Mercado, Ryan, Nicholas Flaws, Tiger Johnson just did what he did to Nicholas Flaws, Rohan Polanco, Frank Martin, right up there in the front, Liam Paro, Keyshawn. You know what I'm saying? De Los Santos, he came back and got a stoppage. He looked, his body ain't look the way it should, but, he got back in there before, because remember, he was scheduled to fight Keyshawn. He got back in there before Keyshawn did. So hopefully they keep him active. But Frank Martin, man, I always said outside of the tank, I like Frank, man. It's just, for the most part, when people, it's only like a couple people that I'm like, I had to think, but I got Tank for the most part. And outside of Tank, I said, man, I rock with Frank. At one point in time, I had more content out on Frank than the people who was part of the tribe. I just had to draw that line in the sand and pick who I had on the fight. Yeah, that's a great look. Yeah. Blair, he had pulled out of a fight. He got back, he got active. He was supposed to have another fight and he got sick. So I don't know what happened, man. I just know that the clock is ticking on Blair, man. He gotta do a better job at using his momentum, capitalizing on his momentum. You don't capitalize on his momentum, he get that Adrian Broner fight. And how long has it been since he fought Adrian Broner? It's been a minute. June of 2024. It's been a year and a half. You got to capitalize on your momentum. And those are the guys where it's acceptable for you to just get some food on your plate. Those be the time when it's just time for you to just get some food on your plate. Yeah, almost 2 years. Just get some food on your plate. Stay active. Get a bag. Get something to sustain you. You know what I'm saying? Because the longer you stay out, Cause it's just like truck driving. When them wheels ain't turning, you ain't earning. When you ain't fighting, you ain't earning. If you don't get up and get your butt and get that finish that fight across the finish line, you don't get paid. The people who trained you and helped train you and mold you and coach you, they don't get paid. Is DK still in the damn business? Well, he not with Don King. He got over there with some people from across the pond, like the same guy who got he got somebody a fight. I can't remember his name. But he was an agent who was getting these people all these fights. But Blair's not with Don King anymore. He hasn't been with Don King for a minute. That's why I was saying, what's the holdup? He had got with this foreign promoter. But the foreign promoter, he was well, I forgot his name. But he was getting people some fights, so I don't really blame him for that. But I thought Broner was still with him, but I don't know, man. I don't even keep up with it, man, because I didn't know if that was good or bad with him going over there with Don. When the Adrian Broner fight happened and got announced and actually went through, crossed the finish line and everything, that's when Blair knocked out AB's tooth or whatever. I didn't know what to think. I'm like, okay, well, if Don gonna put on these kind of fights, cool. But neither one of them had really no motion after that. Now, AB, you know, he definitely got some things that he contributed to not getting back in there. Blair, I'm not sure, and I don't know how he got sick. But I'll keep track of Don. I appreciate Don for what he done in the past, but I'll keep track on him as I need to. I don't really go digging for that kind of stuff. But I had to put something down on wax and let y'all know, man. We gotta check ourselves, man. We gotta look at the trends of the sport, because I'm starting to hear more and more people develop this pack mentality. It'd be cool if, it'd be cool if you did the stable thing, because you know one of the biggest cards Turkey had put on, because I give credit when it's due now, was that 5v5. We always talk about fights that we liked but we didn't ask for. There are kings of people who put out fights that we don't mind, but we didn't ask for. Damn near every fight we see, we didn't ask for it, but we like, okay, cool. It's very rare that we starting to get these fights that we asked for. And why? Because people already have these, you know, silent agreements to where, oh yeah, you up at 54. When I get up there, I'm not gonna fight you, or we're always gonna stay one weight class behind, or man, they're gonna have to give us $200 million to get us to fight. That's the climate we in now. Yeah, it is. That is sad. That's why I try not to. I'm keeping the same energy when it come down the tank, because you know what's funny, Johnny Allison? There's a channel and they do a whole bunch of funny stuff. Like, they'll make you laugh. But they came out doing videos shitting on AB. But then when it came down to Key, when the news came out and Keyshawn said he was drinking in camp or whatever, didn't nobody be like, hey man, you don't want to be AB, and had that real, really draw out something really that's what I was expecting Ward and Bradley to do. They didn't do that. So I'm like, this is how I see boxing. Like, y'all come out because they talk about all the toxic stuff, but then when people show you the prelude to it, and they can go in on somebody like Tank and all his indiscretions, but not Dana for punching his wife on camera. When we haven't even seen a video of nothing. We seen a video of a long time ago of something, but it was like, okay, if it's anything similar to that, we ain't seen Tank punching his wife in the forehead. You see what I'm saying, J man? You see what I'm saying? I'm glad somebody out there see what I'm saying. Like, they not saying that, but then they want you to get behind Zufta. I'm like, well, what? Like, but then they'll tell you, oh yeah, man, that like back when Al Haymon was doing it, they used to hate Al Haymon. And yeah, I ain't knocking it because yeah, Zufta doing it, you know what I'm saying? That's the same thing Al Haymon was trying to do. And now they're for it. So what makes you for it? The person that's running it? Well, the person that's running it, he ain't getting no heat like Tank getting right now. So when I see AB, just like when I seen AB on the Cam show, I was like, man, Cam, I can't expect more from Cam because Cam is petty. I think somebody like Gilly and Wallow, especially Wallow, they would have handled AB with, they would have mitigated it. They wouldn't have made him. But I was kind of like, man, damn, Cam, you ain't got to do AB. So I'll take the high road on that. Why highlight that? And if you out, and all I'm saying is if you out here highlighting stuff like that, then when somebody like Keyshawn say I was drinking in camp and all that, highlight that and say, oh, okay, so you want to be, but they're saying that Tank is the new AB. I'm like, it don't make no sense. They pick and choose. Yeah, and then they don't say, where's all the videos about the dude passing out on stage? Like the UFC dude passing out on stage. Like, where's the dude? Where's the videos? Where's the people talking about, like, but they head over heels, knee pads on, saying, with tonsil jewelry, throat coat, reach around extenders. You know, I'm like, y'all outsourcing the work, y'all opening up your mouth. I can see all your tonsils, all 3 of them. For this league, well, where was the heat when Dana did what he did? The guy that fighting this weekend, this video of him punching a chick a while ago, but like I don't recall, and like he don't ever get labeled as like, so I'm confused. I'll be confused. Yeah, and then the other people I'm talking about too, I'm confused. That's why I'd rather not say nothing until I get all the facts, and what I will say is just speak to it responsibly and keep it moving, man. But the people that dwell outside the ring, that can't talk the X's and O's, they can't even tell you what the champion was. I heard somebody say when Abdullah get a belt. I'm talking about this dude be having like 300-400 people in the chat. He said when Abdullah get a belt the next time he fight. I'm like, what you mean when Abdullah get a belt? But I'm real high on Abdullah Mason. Like, okay. I got you, cuz. I got you, man. You know what I'm saying? It's funny out here, man. I'm just here, man. I'm like, you know, I'm just here giving the pulse of boxing. But I'm here, man. Anybody want to chop it up? Anybody got anything on their mind, man? I'm just asking y'all, man. Y'all got to look out for his, just like I was telling my father-in-law a minute ago, that boxing has changed. We coming up on 2 years ago when I told him, I said, no, boxing has really changed, because I'm talking about my father. If I'm 45 and I'm talking about somebody that's my father-in-law, then imagine, like, how he look at boxing. And he followed the bouncing ball all along. He got some fighters. He watch it. He's an advocate. You know what I'm saying? He don't watch it like all day, every day. He's not like in it like me, but like he stay abreast. He knows who's who. He can keep up. He can hold a great conversation. Anyway was one of his guys, and Billy one of his guys. When I told him that boxing is changing, that was 2 years ago. Now we really see it. But I'm telling y'all, man, like the Mamba mentality, you know what I'm saying? That's why we kind of got to hold their feet to the fire. Why? Because they're asking for our money. They want to take our money to give us whatever, but certain people can get away with it. Until he got knocked off, that undisputed champ up there at 68, he could pick whatever he want under whatever circumstances. You know what I'm saying? And I was always saying, man, he don't got a cherry vineyard. He got a grape vineyard. I said, but it's not going to age well. It's part of my age well game. And what did he do? He wound up picking, and you know what I'm saying? He got away with it when Mel moved up and didn't fight the way he was supposed to. None of his characteristics. That's my guy, so I know. Wound up getting knocked off by Bud, so it looked worse than him not fighting David Benavidez. So time is gonna tell is what I'm saying, y'all. In the pack, they not gonna be able to do it, but when it come time and since you seeking this limelight and you gotta do it, then that pressure. We seen what that pressure did to Keyshawn, and he ain't even get in there with De La Santo. He said he ain't want to make, whatever. I don't want to pick no scabs. But it's out there based on what they say and what's the news is out here. That's what it is. And I'm keeping it boxing. But it's going to come a point in time where, just like Bernard Hopkins say, man, that ring is a lie detector test. And you will get on that machine. Especially if you seeking a limelight and they putting all the bucks and all the trust. Yeah. What they always say, unto whom much is given, much is required. And I always say, he who controls the printed page controls the thinking of this age. So when these writers, these interviewers, these people that's all up in the sport are out here doing these interviews and saying all these softball questions, but then always got something like, notice now it's a trend to where they'll say something negative or throw something at somebody. Sometimes they ask people questions, they don't even know what's going on, and then they'll tell them. I'm like, how are you telling them about some negativity about somebody else and then asking them? So in one breath, you'll have in every comment section somebody saying Tank is done, he ain't never coming back. But then you'll have a Brian Custer ask somebody like Shakur, do you think we see that fight this year? So in some point in time, the pack ain't gonna mean nothing. But if we can't see, like, imagine this. If we ain't ever gonna see Tank versus Shakur, then y'all just gonna be okay with him picking and choosing? And now it's okay for weight clause and rehydration. But I recall, I bet you 9 times out of 10, your favorite content creator, they probably went back and pulled all them videos. Because now weight clause and rehydration, precedence is set. But back when somebody did it because they was fighting in a real weight class, giving somebody who wanted to fight them 1 more pound, crucified. Typically a catch weight and all that, crucified. Conor Ben and them, they put that circus act on, everybody loved it. Pay, here, take my money. Precedence. Now Shakur want to do the same thing to him? Precedence. Now clauses don't matter. But look, this is the checkmate to that, Jay, man. Look, if that don't matter, then why Robert Garcia is on record saying that Virgil didn't fight Bakram because of the 10-pound rehydration. But people don't like getting in that IBF rehydration. That's why you gotta salute on the low. You really gotta salute Morataya, because they said he was a big 35, but guess what? 10-pound rehydration under the IBF. Andy Cruz had to do the same thing. That's what made that fight extra special. But fighters who run around and hold that belt and that belt alone, a la Bakram, 10-pound rehydration. So if causes don't matter, then you wouldn't have steered clear or be trying to go get another belt to unify where it don't matter. That's just like I used to say, do belts matter or they don't? Because they didn't give Jermell Charlo, the 154 undisputed champion, who went by and picked up each strap one by one by one. He didn't get the same credit as somebody like Dev, who went and fought one time and got undisputed. The belt that when Loma got elevated of the franchise, he tossed the other belt down, because when they implemented it, Canelo got elevated. Devin got that strap. He went and fought Kambosos. They said, boom, undisputed. One fight. Bud just jumped up. One fight. Mel Charlo went by one. Got pickpocketed on the scorecard. Arguably lost, arguably won, depending on how you see it against Tony Harrison. Fought him the second time, stopped him. Got a draw with Castano. Arguably lost, arguably won, depending on how you scored it. Came back, stopped him. Stopped Jason Rosario with a body shot. Knocked out Charles Hatley with an overhand right. Hit Tony Harrison a la almost like how I think it was, I don't know if it was that Walsh cat, but I forgot the guy. But Tank, that 5 uppercuts that when Tank was pumping that's what he did to Tony Harrison. They don't respect that Undisputed though. So we pick and choose when belts matter. My man, pound for pound, he just said, man, I'm not paying this. They stripped him, man. Them belts don't, like, they pick and choose that too. Yeah, he did a round robin with a deep division, a deep competitive division. 54 already had been lit. I think it had its low moments, and the new talent had to catch up to that gap between Jermell. But he don't get the respect of being undisputed. They look at that undisputed that Devin got going 24 rounds. Well, 12 rounds initially, because really he did it in 12 rounds. But he went 24 rounds with that guy. They respect that undisputed way more than the one that Jermell got at 54, which I don't understand. Especially when Brian Castano went in there and gave Erislandy Lara, the great Erislandy Lara, everything that he wanted for them to a draw. He gave Jermell Charlo everything he wanted. I don't think he wasn't that active. And Jermell is special. You can say whatever you want, but that overhand right is something special. He catch you with that shit, you're going to sleep. They don't respect it. They don't even respect the fact that he single-handedly, and shout out to Erickson Lubin, all due respect, he single-handedly changed the trajectory of Erickson Lubin's whole career. He ain't been the same since. I won't find nobody to debate me on that. We just thought he was back around and doing whatever. Cause we heard he dropped Berlanga and sparring, but he go out there in a couple years, like, you know what I'm saying, see Virgil Ortiz, and we see what happened. Jermell kicked that off. All due respect to Lubin, because I like Lubin. Cool guy. We pick and choose. Yeah, the son of a legend. The son of a legend. All this because of the hate for Al. But they love Dana for doing the same thing that Al wanted to do. Just wanted to put something on y'all mind, man, and how we looking at boxing, man. Austin Trout, man. At some point, man, this trend that we got, man, at some point, man, we got to turn these tides around, man, and get more people. We gotta get these boxers to get more on that Mamba stuff, man. Whereas anybody can get it. Because the conversation's starting to change. There's a whole bunch of debating, and you know how many times I heard T.O. Duck Devin. You know. Well, at least we get to see a real one this weekend. I can't see T.O. pulling it off. Wow. So there's no way you can see Teofimo winning this fight. That's tough, Johnny. There's empirical data saying that he could. Why? Because he made light work of 2 of the best southpaws. Now, Sandor Martin, he 40-2. He could arguably be 42-0 because Sandor Martin dropped him and did all that. Sandor Martin is a finesser. I think Sandor Martin arguably beat Puello, but that's a different story. He had some shortcomings against Sandor Martin. Has he fixed those problems? What if he's fixed those problems? You know, it says that he made Loma put his hands in his pocket. If Shakur do that jump back, all defense and no offense, he's not going to score enough. And you got to think, I just said, they're not just awarding effective aggression. They have been awarding aggression. Just aggression. Khalil Cole and Jesse Hart said it. Because it wasn't effective. He showed spurts of effective aggression, but I guess they were tossing in ring generalship. But ring generalship says that you dictate the pace, you set the tone. You engage when you want to, you know what I'm saying? You box when you want to box, you bang when you want to bang, you pretty much run it in there. You dictate how everything is going down. Whether somebody take their time with you, whether they on the back foot, when you choose to be on your back foot, when you choose to press, versus like when you cut the ring off and force them, you know, and set traps. I think that anybody saying something like that, man, I mean, I don't know, you probably should be putting big bread down. I just don't think he has it in him, I guess, but Shakur is just too good. I could see if I said the other day, you're dealing with a knight versus a bishop. The L shape versus the diagonal. T.O. move in the L shape. And anybody I've played chess against that know how to do that pinwheel, you know what I'm saying? They know how to do that pinwheel move, like where you get in the right zone. Dangerous. You know, T.O. has pride. And they say he fights the level of his opponent. There's empirical data that says that. When he has to get up for it and he's looking like, listen, man, I can't let nobody come up here and take this. And he's not running in no pack. Like, he's drawing power from that. Like, just because it's like him against the world. Like, he's almost on some him against all of y'all. It's like him against Keyshawn and all of the you know, against the Timothy Bradleys, the Andre Wards, like everybody that's pulling for him, the Buds, like everybody is over there with Shakur on this. That's a lot of pressure on Shakur. But T.O., this is why I use this person to illustrate that. The Joker had many weapons. It was a method to his madness. Was he quirky? Did he make mistakes? Yeah. Was he a little off at times? Yeah. That's who T.O. is. You know, sometimes the Joker, Batman didn't always get the best of the Joker. Sometimes the Joker fucked Batman up. You know what I'm saying? So I can see it. And plus, the great Roy Jones said it's a 50-50 fight. That was Roy Jones. Now, that's before the recent interview. I think after T.O. said something here recently. Not too recent, a couple of weeks ago. Roy was doing it. But before that, Roy said that this is basically a 50-50 fight. Then you got Shakur's, you know, him moving up, no acclamation and all that. It's going to show if he really real, but the power, is that going to translate? Because we know that T.O. power, you know, from 35 to 40, it looked different. You can argue that Devin's power from 35 to 40 went up. You can argue that, was it timing or was his power there? You know what I'm saying? To be able to drop Brian Norman. Some people argue whether or not Brian Norman was chinny. I used to hear that when I was trying to help promote Brian Norman and keep people enthused about it so it wouldn't be so one-sided. People used to say, well, they thought he was chinny. You know what I'm saying? But to see Devin do that, was it the difference in the power? We don't know until we see him fight again. This is going to be Shakur's first time up there at 40. He got a safety-first defensive style, which does not cater to you scoring points. And if they've been favoring the aggressor, you know, they've been rewarding the aggressor just for coming forward, just for pressing the action. Pitbull got all of the credit for being the aggressive, but then when he was on the back foot, they said, oh, look at Cruz, he doing something different. They didn't give the points to Lamont Roach for forcing, and ring generalship for forcing Pitbull to fight on the back foot. We ain't never seen Pitbull fight on the back foot. And look at how that got scored. Look at what happened with Jermaine Ortiz. You know, if Shakur was to fight that style, look what happened with that. T.O. was the aggressor. Was it effective? At times, but like less than often. So it's a lot of variables in this fight. And T.O. is up for this fight. T.O. is the wild card. T.O. is quiet. I've seen a little something with him. Like, it's been a little something, but he's been like dangerously quiet. Body. Hey, Body. Talking about Brian Norman, what do you think about him leaving his dad? For Derrick James, I look at him like he came to his father and said, hey, we need to look at somebody else like with the expertise to be the head trainer. I still want you in my corner. And his father basically said, well, if I can't be the top dog, then I'm not going to be nothing. I don't agree with that. You know, I don't agree with that. To me, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. And you know, there's people that, man, they wish and love. Like, you think Mr. Gary Russell wouldn't love for his father to be back upright and in his corner? You think Tony Harrison wouldn't love for his father to be back upright and in his corner? You think Jared Hurd would have fizzled out? I mean, they say he played defense with his face, you know what I'm saying? I even heard somebody say that Subriel might be the new Puerto Rican Jared Hurd. I said, yikes. But you think Jared Hurd wouldn't do anything to have his father back and up and in his corner? So to be alive and well, knowing that you got your son to that height and y'all took a loss, and you got to take some accountability for your part. Your son has taken accountability, and he said, you know what? He did something very good. He said, you know what? We need to get with somebody that has more of an expertise. You can't, that's like knocking them for improving, like for knocking him for being a young man that you raised him to be able to make those tough decisions. And he's not a Wolfpack guy. He's the God of War. He's taking on that God of War where it's going down. And that's why I kind of wanted him to win, because I know Richardson Hitchens said he wanted to win it, but I know if he would have won, he would have gave Richardson Hitchens a shot. And he would move like, yeah, he was going to go. He's a throwback. He was going to go until he just, you know, picked the wrong guy, like the totally wrong guy. Like, he was going to go and give us the fights. So no, I don't agree with Brian. I was hoping that was just pride, that it might take a couple, you know what I'm saying, nights, maybe a vacation, maybe just time to just sit back and think and come to the conclusion that the worst thing in the world is he could get totally better with Derrick James and then have it be his first time going in the ring without his pops, without that word, that familiar voice. Because that's the one thing about Bill. That's one thing you can't say, because I try to find the positives. Devin ain't gonna have that familiar voice. If it's something, he got that. So just because, you know, he make a business decision, because this is a business, man. You decide you don't want to have nothing to do with it. I don't agree with that at all. That's not. In what world could that be right? In what world could that be right? I don't agree. Derrick James was so arrogant, bragging about he doesn't need to study film in preparation for the Crawford fight. Norman run far away. Well, he's not the only trainer. Like the whole Bozy and them, they say that all the time. He say that all the time. So I've heard Bozy say that. He's like, nah, we don't man, we don't watch film, man. He was like, man, yeah, when they get in there with boots, man, they don't fight like that. Know what I mean? Nah, man. Like, why? He's like, yeah, you look. We go back and look at that. Look at Karen, man. When he get in there and fight Boots, he ain't fight Boots like, especially after that. He ain't fight Boots like that. Know what I mean? Nah, man. Know what I mean? Yeah. So many coaches say that, man. They say we don't watch. I just seen what Robert Garcia said it. He don't get caught up in all of that. You know what I'm saying? Because you just gotta be able to teach your fighter how to make the adjustments and all that. And then plus, if that was like to try to kind of shit on Derrick James, I mean, he only got Jermell Charlo the undisputed, because a lot of people, when Bomac went at him and said, you can't tell me nothing about undisputed, it's like, yeah, I actually did get Jermell Charlo undisputed. I just got Earl to 3. So he was one strap away from consolidating all 4. So you got in current divisions. Nobody, like, that's history. So, I mean, you could say, I mean, I've heard them all. I heard Frank Martin not listen to things Derrick James was saying. He kept telling them to get off the ropes. And then what Frank say after the fight? Yeah, man, I was on the ropes too long. He's like, Derrick was telling me. And they split amicable. You know, I seen Jermell Charlo not listen. I seen in that Bud fight, man, I seen Earl wasn't listening. But I also seen Derrick reel him in and say, listen, man, what he did with Castaño, he said, listen, man, go back downstairs. Go back downstairs. And he gave him strong, straightforward counsel. He went out there and stopped Castaño. So, yeah, that's different. But I'm saying, so that means we got to talk about them all who say that. A lot of them have said that, but they having success. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's a philosophy in boxing anyway. Sometimes it's philosophy to where they like, man, I'm not worried about what they do. I'm knowing what I'm gonna do, and I know how to make adjustments. Like once we see, so it's a philosophy. With my football background, no. If I have an opportunity to see what you do and how you do it, I'm definitely taking a gander. That's me personally. But I've heard a lot of different coaches. Derrick wasn't the only one to say that. Is what my point is. James was telling Spence what to do in the corner. I don't think Spence body would. Yeah, he wouldn't. He was like, man, my lady say that. That's one of the things my lady say. She was saying, man, he was coach, because she heard something one time. I think I was listening to something. And she like, what do you mean? Like Derrick was saying, he was saying, make him feel you. Like you there, but you're not there. Like you're imposing will. Like make him feel you. Like, you know, and he was telling them what to do. I believe it was because of the anti. See Derrick. If you notice something that Brian Norman said, and then you know this is the other thing. I talked about this the other day. You go to different coaches at different times for different things. So if you think about it, Frank was with Derrick. That was pure for the fundamentals. As a boxer puncher, he can outbox you. You know what I'm saying? Like he can outbox you for the most part. He was punching enough to be able to drop you, but that was fundamentals. He just said that he wanted something that catered more towards his athleticism because he felt like that part of his game was coming up out of it. But you don't go to certain coaches for, like, you wouldn't go to certain coaches to learn how to cut the ring off. And I'll give you another example. Like, you can look at how Andy, already boxing, he went over there to Bozy to be able to sit down on his punches and stuff like that. He had success with it. We just seen the first time when he faced adversity like that and suffered a loss in a valiant, close effort. But you go to them for that. So you go to different coaches for different things, depending on where stage you are in your career and what you need from them. But if you listen to what Brian Norman said, he was saying it was a lot of distractions, saying that people was coming to camp that he didn't invite. You know what I'm saying? He in there trying to hit the bag, and they asking him, "Did you see what such and such said? Did you hear what this said? Was you just that?" And he was like, "That was a." But Derek, he's the type where he don't want all of that. He'll say, "Listen, man, if you ain't here training or doing something, I need you out." I don't even think they let people in that gym. You know, Ryan, he got a brand where he got to be doing the camera and all that. I think that stuff kind of take a toll on a straight, no nonsense kind of guy. Like some guys are like that. They're disciplined like that. So I think there was a little bit of that. And once you get so big and you're getting stretched in different directions with all these dates and times and different affiliations. And I think, unfortunately, another embarrassing thing was I think what happened with him and Earl. You know what I'm saying? Which was kind of embarrassing to me. But I think it was mainly more so like a more pure environment, and with Ryan and his antics and being focused or whatever. I would assume that from my perspective. And Catterall with Bozy. Yeah, Catterall with Bozy learning how to punch. He won me some money. Catterall won me some money. Yep, sitting down. Yep. So it works. But that's what it is, y'all, man. I wanted to put this on wax more as like a timestamp, man, so we can go back and look and listen, man. Like, I don't think the pack mentality is necessarily the best thing. And I got something I had pulled up that I'm gonna relay to y'all real quick. It say, in general, social psychology, not specific to boxing, well-established evidence shows how group norms and group membership can change individual behavior through processes like in-group conformity, social identity, and social influence. When individuals strongly identify with a group, they often adopt the norms and behavioral standards of that group, even if those behaviors differ from their solo tendencies. Let me read that again. When individuals strongly identify with a group, they often adopt the norms and behavioral standards of that group, even those behaviors differ from their solo tendencies. This is what pack mentality describes in a general sense, and it's well supported in social psychological research, studies on group behavior and identity formation. So I'm saying, man, when you get these people, man, and that James comment you made, make him feel you, would apply wonders to Brian in that Haney fight. He was there, but no physical. Yeah, like your presence, like, you know, because that was part of Earl's thing. Earl gonna make you feel him. You gonna know you in his presence. Like his presence will be felt. He overwhelm you, have you thinking that foot pressure. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh shit, I can't, you know what I'm saying, step on a landmine. I gotta be careful. You said that's Trump's entire campaign? Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. We got these boxers out here and they thinking like groups, they in that group, and it's like, oh no, that's my homeboy at 40. Oh no, we boys at 47. So we not looking in that direction. I'm talking about these dudes ain't stable mates. They don't have the same coach. Hell, it was hard enough trying to get T.O. and Richardson Hitchens, and they had the same manager. Couldn't get it done. And Turkey had already said he would fight it and put it in Alcatraz. But they try to Mandela effect me on that one. Nobody ever bring that up. So that was really the word, man. I want y'all to think about these interviews and what they're saying. Go back and listen to that Brian Custom. I didn't want to go in. I was going to do a review on it, but yeah, Key and Core, that's my brother. I was going to do something on that interview that he did with Brian Custom, but I said, you know what? Last couple of weeks I've done, episodes, as they came out and talked about things they've said and done in the interviews. Keyshawn, he was all sensitive, even though he came out and told everybody he was drinking. And then Bernie, he was the same way, even though he admitted that, he didn't know nothing about it. And he was very respectful of Keyshawn. And he still caught feelings because he said people shouldn't be talking about that kind of stuff. I'm like, but y'all are doing interviews and it relates to the sport. Like, if they came out and they asked Deshaun McCoy, was Mike Vick drinking? Because Mike Vick came out and said he had been drinking, and LaShawn McCoy was like, nah, I ain't even know Mike Vick to drink like that. Nah, man, when? He ain't never, he got to hand me the ball. I'm all in his face like, nah, man, nah. The thing is, he ain't really want to play that game because they wasn't going to give him his bonus and all that. Like, if it was something like that, and we don't talk about it. But that's how it is in boxing, man. They'll come out and tell you some shit, and it be about boxing. It ain't even messy. It ain't about Clarissa and Pat Poose. It's about something you said, and you're an Olympian that imploded, left the mayor hanging, left Mike Vick hanging, left AI hanging, and ain't nobody supposed to talk about it. And you the coach, but ain't nobody supposed to talk about it. There's a lot of this going on, man. It's not enough this going on, man. It's not enough of this going on. It's not enough of this going on. It's not enough this going on. This going on. How both of these guys move right here. It's not enough. Not enough, man. We need to get back to this where there can only be one. Like, none of these guys, I don't ever remember none of these guys saying, that's my friend, man, that's my homie, I wouldn't do it. I don't remember it. I don't recall, man. I'm just saying that at some point, this is what it's gonna be. Y'all see that image? Y'all know that image from 300 where you're gonna have to do it, man. Get it over with. Be accustomed. They embrace that shit. On 300, they embrace that shit. Why? Because they built for it. They trained for it. They had their downtime. They did whatever, but when it was time, they're gonna go for it. That's why they was the 300. They had Mamba mentality. But at some point in time, it's gonna come down to you. It's gonna be, ain't gonna no way to get around it. It's you versus them. It's some Highlander type shit, some Predator type shit. And the pack ain't gonna be there. It's just, that's what it's gonna be, you and them, that beast. At some point. That's what I said, man. He got, 3 blood, yep. That's what I'm saying. How much family you need, how many friends you need in this sport. But y'all know I can go all day, man. I appreciate 93 Octane. I appreciate you. Good to see you too, Johnny Allison. Dev Wall popped up. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that, man. Good seeing and hearing y'all. Easily Baked, Honeybee, Cookie Monster. J-Man, I appreciate you for jumping in, man, and contributing in the comment section. Cooking. Giving good feedback, man. I appreciate that. His twin, Hill and Honey, Aaron Jones came through. Man, it was a good night. Real talk by Honeybee. Man, I appreciate you. Like, comment, and subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Feel free to support the channel. We do try to be creative, man. And we try to be responsible with the boxing talk, man. We do have our fun. Remember, we got a big debate. We got a big debate tomorrow, man. And I gotta fix that. I'm gonna fix Melazar's name, but it's gonna be AC versus Melazar, and they're gonna be debating about the Muhammad Ali, act. Was it good? Was it bad? This new change, all of that good stuff, man. It's gonna be right because we was cooking last week and it got so heated. I said, listen, man, this could be a whole different segment, man. Y'all can get it off. I'll be the mediator, and we're gonna break it down because I wanted to see who's pro, who was anti, what was the good, what was the bad, how do we need to look at this thing going forward. With two guys that were passionate about it, but they both been doing their research and reading and getting their points, but they both knew enough to be able to get that heated. So I said, man, we're gonna have a debate. So we're gonna sit back and relax and listen to these guys tomorrow night. It's fight week, y'all. I hope all these guys live to get in the ring, and I hope everybody has a healthy remaining camp. Everybody make weight, positive vibes to these fights. You know what I'm saying? I hope everybody well out there, man. If you traveling, the roads are pretty clear, but you know what I'm saying, it still can be icy, or people could have that snow on top of your car. Be vigilant, but I think this was a good cook. Fruits and veggies, not that Reggie. That fact-based content, not opinion-based. Even though we have ours. Silence is consent is the mantra of the channel, meaning that all it takes for evil to prevail is for men and women to remain silent. So we speak to the things that need to be spoken to in the sport. You know what I'm saying? We need to put out some positive vibes for Tank. Tank was good for boxing. You know what I'm saying? People can say they not. They can argue till they blue in the face, but like, that's a special young man. He's going through some things. The same grace that you gave Dana and what he did, the same grace you gave Shakur and what he did, the same grace you gave Devin and his allegations. I think we need to extend some of that to Tank. Why? Because we've seen Dana punching his wife. I seen Tank a while ago do something like with, grabbing his lady and telling her, come on, let's go. And I'm hearing that that's what it was. I don't know. And this being one of my guys, I'm gonna reserve judgment, but don't be no hypocrite out here. Meanwhile, your favorite fighter want to be BFFs with everybody and shit. Got extended family members. Adding to his Christmas list. Golly. I ain't gonna talk your head off. Hopefully you got something that you can put in your rucksack and march on with. You know what I'm saying? And we live to talk boxing another day. Anyways, thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. But we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga, right? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Bodywork.